Are you a video editor? Are you struggling to hit your deadlines? Are you losing clients because you just can't finish your projects on time? Then you need to get your shit together. Seriously, what are you doing? Now, whether your problem is an underperforming computer or a time management issue, here's 5 Premiere Pro features I use to edit faster and leave my clients thinking, holy shit, that was fast. So coming in at number 1 is the music remix tool. So how many times have you been in Premiere and you need to add some music to your edit, but the track is just way too long? So we can cut it at the end and just add a default transition, but that is quite an amateurish way of doing things. Alternatively, we can go through, cut and mix the track ourselves so that it ends at the right time and right section of the song, but that's going to take forever as well. So if we go over to our toolbar with our music selected and click and hold the Ripple Delete tool and select the Remix tool, and then click and drag our track to our desired length, Premiere is automatically going to cut and mix it so it ends naturally at the length you want. Now we can go up to our Essential Sound tab here and have a bunch of different parameters to play with. If we open this preset drop-down menu, we have balanced background music, duck against everything, hard vocal ducking, 30, 60, and 90-second remix lengths, as well as smooth vocal ducking. So if we pick one of these preset remix lengths, let's try 90 seconds, you'll see the track automatically gets stretched out to about 90 seconds and ends naturally. Now, alternatively, with our track selected again, we can go back up to Essential Sound and change this preset to Balanced Background Music, which is pretty self-explanatory. It's gonna make sure our music track is balanced well against our voiceover and other sound elements in our composition. You can also select hard vocal ducking, which is just going to be a little bit more aggressively hiding the music behind our voiceover. And finally, you can just manually set your duration based off of a time code here, which is kind of convenient as well. Now, there are so many things that you can play with inside the Essential Sound tab. Go through, explore, because you have a bunch of control while still saving a bunch of time in the process. So feature number 2 is the audio track mixer. So how many times have you been finishing up your edit and you're going in to mix and master your audio tracks? Now we can select them one by one, go up to our effects, search for the effect we want, tweak it there, then copy and paste it to a bunch of the other tracks. But let me show you a much more convenient way to do so. So if we go up to Window and go down to Audio Track Mixer, we're gonna get this panel that pops up with a bunch of different columns, and you'll notice they are all labeled A1, A2, A3, so on and so forth, and they all correspond with the tracks we have in our timeline. Now, if we go to this drop-down menu, we can start adding effects here as we would from the effects panel. Now, we can put a single band compressor on, we can lower the gain, we can pan left and right, and then we can also go into audio track 2 and start picking the effects that we want to be applied to our second audio track. Now, if you just double click on the effect, you can go into the normal menu and tweak it from there. So this is a great way to apply audio effects to individual tracks as a whole. So number 3 is gonna be the Ripple Delete hotkey. Now, how many times have you been editing a long interview or YouTube video and you need to go through and clean up all the pauses or the ums and the ahs, anything that's just additional fat? Now, you can use the razor tool, cut it out manually, and then delete that midsection. But if you have a long clip, that's gonna take forever. So go up to Premiere Pro and select keyboard shortcuts, and we're gonna search for Ripple Delete, and we're gonna add a shortcut to that, and the shortcut is gonna be K, and I'll explain why. So if we go to our grand setup and select Command K, you'll realize that we have a shortcut set up for adding edit or basically splitting a clip. So now when we go through, we can use Command K to split the in and the out of the part we don't want, and then simply hit K, and that's gonna delete that section while shifting everything to the right, back over to the left, so we're not left with any unwanted gaps in our timeline. Now, it seems small, but this compounds quickly and saves you a bunch of time. Feature number 4 is the auto captioning feature. I use this feature literally every day. So you can go through manually creating text to match up to the audio in your timeline, whether it's a voiceover, but that is gonna take forever. So we're gonna set our in and our out points Go up to Window, make sure that text box is selected so that we can go over and hit Transcribe Sequence. Now we can pick the language we're gonna use. You're gonna have to download some additional ones if you need them, but today we're using English. We're gonna only analyze the audio on the track, so that's a mix of everything. You can use specific audio tracks, and this point is important. We're gonna select Transcribe In Point to Out Point only. That's why we set our in and out points originally, and the rest you can just leave as so. Feel free to play around if you need to, but these settings should be good. So once you hit transcribe, Adobe's gonna do a really good job at auto transcribing your sequence. So basically writing out anything that's being said on the timeline. You can make corrections, but once you're happy, hit this little CC icon, and we're gonna keep it as subtitle default. Format subtitle, style is none because we haven't made any presets. Now maximum length we can put to around 38, minimum duration in seconds, about 2.5, and gap between captions, we're gonna leave at 0, and then you can choose between single or double lined. Hit create, and you're gonna notice a new subtitle layer above everything in your timeline. Now we can double click on that and change the style to however we see fit. I think I'm gonna go with something bold, maybe a little bit bigger, maybe change it to yellow, that'll stand out nice. And now you'll notice that it doesn't transfer to all of the additional ones. So instead of going through one by one, we can just hit this up arrow and apply to all captions on track. And now you'll see your font style of caption has gone all the way through your edit, and it's taken no more than 30 seconds. Now finally, when you're exporting, just make sure under captions, export options, you have burn captions into video selected to export with your captions burned into your final export of the video. Last but not least, feature 5 is the auto color match feature. So how many times have you been trying to match a camera to another camera from an interview setup, or you just want to steal the color grade from something that you thought was really nice? Now we can select our clip that we're looking to color in Lumetri Color, go up to Color Wheels and Match and hit Comparison View. Now we'll get this secondary timeline. We're just gonna scrub through and find our referenced clip that we want to steal the color from, which is on our timeline already. And once we found that, we're just gonna hit Apply Match, and Premiere Pro is going to do its best to match the coloring from our reference. And finally, you can go through and do any additional tweaks, but this works really great in a pinch, or if you're just looking to color something quickly by reference. So there we have it, 5 time-saving features inside Premiere Pro. I hope it was helpful, and if you enjoyed today's video, do me a favor, leave a comment, and please consider subscribing. I will see you next time. Peace.